I said, come for part two. I couldn't think what did we leave out that we would put into part two, but I knew, witness, you would come up with something that would make it worthwhile to do part two.
Absolutely. And in part one, we explored your incredible journey in business, starting from when you were just an office boy in Radio Swazi. Was it Radio Swazi?
It was Radio
Swazi.
Yeah.
And how you even went on to build some of South Africa's biggest radio stations and also one of South Africa's biggest media companies. And reflecting on that, what key lessons do you believe every aspiring entrepreneur or leader should learn early on?
I was lucky to know at a very young age, at the age of 23, I knew what I wanted to do. And then how that happened, just to maybe rewind a bit, is I was listening to Swazi radio one night while driving my car. And I thought to myself, that's what I would like to do with my life. I'd been in business with my brother. The company didn't do well. We folded it after a year. And I was looking for something to do with my life. When I heard this, I thought, that's what I want to do. I was 23 and I thought, I've got the rest of my life ahead of me. I'm going to take a chance. And I managed to get an interview. Long story short, I was hired as the office boy, and I worked my way up to where I became the program manager of Swazi Radio. Then I wanted the station manager's job. He wasn't ready to relinquish his job, so he fired me. But, you know, if you know what you want, you're halfway there. But you have to have faith that you can make it happen. And my favorite definition of faith comes from the immortal words of Martin Luther King Jr. He said, and this is to do with faith, you don't have to see the whole of the staircase, just the first step. Mm-hmm. And that was what happened in my life. I saw the first step and the rest unfolded. But know what you want. The other thing I believe is knowing what you want is halfway to achieving it. You can have anything you want if you're prepared to pay the price. And the price may be sacrificing time where you could be relaxing and doing other things. It's making the sacrifice. It's paying the price to get what you want. I really believe that anyone can have that if they're prepared to go the extra mile.
And then how has your leadership style then evolved from
those
days where you knew exactly what you wanted, you built your way up all the way to building companies?
I knew nothing. I knew a lot about radio. I knew a lot about marketing and sales and media.
Yeah.
But I didn't know anything about leading a team of people. Mm. Now, to the point where my admonition to the people I was leading is I would say, it's not effort, it's results that count. I cringe when I think back on that. When you say to somebody, it's not effort, it's results that count. Effort does count. We fail forward to success. And so when as I say, I cringe when I think of that. Effort does count, because as long as you are moving towards a predetermined, worthwhile goal, effort does count.
What do you mean by effort?
Effort means success is not a doorway. Success is a staircase. We fail forward to success. And the failing forward is the effort that we put into something. And we fail and fail and fail until we achieve success. But it does involve making mistakes. And unless you're prepared to make mistakes, you shouldn't attempt anything.
So you mentor some companies
Yes.
across Africa.
Yes.
Why was that important? I mean, after having stepped out of the everyday work of doing business, you still saw it fit that you still want to mentor some companies, you still want to add value. Why is that important to you?
Well, how that happened actually was I was approached by Deutsche Welle, which is
Deutsche Welle.
it's
Okay.
the German international broadcasting organization, media organization. They'd obviously heard about what I had been doing in South Africa, and they approached me to go to, in the first case, to go to Liberia to help a radio station in Liberia. My first thought, now Liberia was it was the Wild West. My first thought was, I don't want to do that. I don't want to go to this wild and crazy place. And then
Did they have war at the time?
no, the war was over by that time.
Yeah.
But they'd had a terrible war. And then I thought, well, you know what? It's going to be an adventure. So that was my approach. It would be an adventure. Now,
And how old are you at the time?
I must have been, this was 2012, which was how many years ago?
That's 12 years ago.
12 years ago.
Yeah, going into 13.
So I was...
Must have been 60, 61?
60, early 60s.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
And
I
you were
thought
going on an adventure
I was going on an adventure.
when you should be retiring.
Witness, I can never retire.
I know you wouldn't retire.
What am I going to do? I don't play golf. What would my friends all dying off? So I've got to be. I enjoy what I do.
Right.
It gives me a reason for getting up in the day. Now my approach was when I met this radio station. It was called Star Radio
In Liberia.
in Liberia.
Yeah.
In Monrovia, in fact, which is the capital of Liberia. I realized that they knew very little about radio. Now, how Deutsche Welle works is instead of giving their partner stations money, they give them skills transfer. So they sent me to do a skills transfer operation. So how I operate is